Hey everybody, it's been a busy week in Washington, a lot of healthcare talk, but also the hot dish competition once again among members of the Minnesota delegation. And it looks like this year my Lake Wobegon Swedish meatballs shepherd's pie was not enough to beat Colin Peterson's hot dish with real bear meat. Always a fun event, keeps the camaraderie going again, the relationships going again with all of our colleagues in the Minnesota delegation in particular. And now we're going to get to our questions. And actually the first comes from a tweet from Alan in Maple Grove, who tweets in, Representative Paulson, first repeal the ACA, the Affordable Care Act. Then if there are any parts of it you like, put it into the new act. Do what's right. Actually, Aaron, thanks for sharing your thought. As a lot of folks know too well in Minnesota, the average premium for those that were a part of the Obamacare exchanges and insurance rates have gone up 59% on average in Minnesota, the third highest in the country. On top of that, we have a third of all counties in the country that now have only one choice or one provider. Some counties don't have any choice or provider. So you end up with a monopoly. You end up with fewer choices. You end up with skyrocketing premiums, skyrocketing deductibles, which is why it is so important to rescue people that have been affected in a negative way by the law. And we are taking action. The Ways and Means Committee this week marked up legislation. You can look at it online. It's only 50-some pages providing tax credits for those that we'll need to have portable coverage for insurance as we transition into a new market where we are going to be able to provide more choices and opportunity and flexibilities in particular, including keeping important provisions like having young people on their parents' policy through age 26, making sure we're covering pre-existing conditions, and making sure that there are no lifetime caps for health expenditures that insurance companies used to use on patients. Also, very importantly, we do repeal a lot of the onerous mandates and taxes that are part of that original Obamacare legislation, including the medical device tax, which will be gone, no more taxes on innovation, as well as making sure that healthcare savings accounts will be broadly expanded for more people to use, something else that I was a part of my authoring and initiative. All right, now we'll move on to Ed from Plymouth, who writes in. He says, Dear Representative Paulson, I am requesting and urging you to support H.R. 299, which is the exact same bill as H.R. 969 from last session. You co-sponsored that bill, and I ask you to do the same this year. It's called the Blue Water Sailors Act, as I'm one of them. I am one who is affected, and my quality of life is compromised from the effects of Agent Orange. This legislation only reinstates coverage that was granted in 1991 and taken from us in 2002 before the effects were obvious. If you are unable to support this legislation, I ask you to explain to me your reasoning behind this lack of support. Thank you, Ed. Ed, actually, thanks for writing and thanks for your service to our country. The freedoms we all enjoy in our country are thanks to some veterans who set aside and sacrificed not only their lives and their families and their opportunity of their own for their own future, but also helped all of us in terms of your service to our country. And the legislation that you're talking about is called the Blue Water Navy Vietnam Veterans Act. It does allow Blue Water Navy veterans who served on a Navy ship in the ocean during the Vietnam War to have access if there is an issue of having Agent Orange as a suspect for your health condition. I think it is important to provide that service to make sure that you would be able to go to the VA to be treated, to have that type of health care. It's only fitting that we would accommodate and make sure that we are requiring to keep the promises that we made to our veterans, particularly in the areas of health care. So I want to thank, I am a co-sponsor of that legislation. I want to thank everyone for joining this week. Continue to reach out anytime on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, or of course on the website. And for those of you watching, we have the Big Ten tournament going on out here in Washington, D.C. The Gophers are up playing this weekend. We hope they're going to have a rematch with Wisconsin in the finals, and we'll find out about that soon. Have a great weekend and a great week.